Welcome to Unwritten, Stories from Snuggly.Cloud, where each tale unfolds with every choice. Settle in and let the narrative guide you.
You step onto the wooden docks, feeling the slight sway beneath your feet. Ships bob in the water, ropes creak, and seagulls cry overhead.
Watch the boats and water movement.
Your eyes follow a slender fishing boat as it gently rocks with the rhythm of the waves. The hull shifts softly, water lapping against it in a slow, steady dance. Nearby, larger vessels, weathered and grand, sit heavy in the harbor, their hulls marked by years of salt and travel. Small ripples spread across the water's surface, momentarily catching glints of sunlight like scattered diamonds. The scent of brine and wood fills the air, mixing with the faint aroma of tar from the ship's ropes.
Watch seabirds diving into the water nearby.
Seagulls wheel gracefully overhead, their wings catching the sunlight with a shimmer of white and gray. Suddenly, one tucks its wings sharply and plunges, piercing the surface with a quiet splash. Ripples ripple out, glinting as the bird resurfaces, a small fish held tightly in its beak. Along with a few others, seabirds circle high, waiting for the right moment to swoop again, their cries weaving into the ambient sounds of the harbor, the creak of wood, distant shouts, and the gentle slap of waves.
Follow a particular bird as it dives repeatedly.
You fix your gaze on a lone seagull that circles low above the water, wings steady in the breeze. It eyes the surface intently, rising slightly, then folding its wings as it swoops down with precision. The splash it makes is soft, almost hesitant, as if testing the water before plunging fully. Moments later, it emerges triumphant, a small silver fish clenched in its beak. The bird shakes its head vigorously, sending droplets scattering like tiny jewels around it, then climbs high again, ready to dive once more.
Notice the bird's flight path and timing between dives.
The seagull's flight is a careful balance of energy and patience. It spirals up in wide loops, catching the breeze to carry it effortlessly over the shimmering water. Each time it nears the surface, its wings fold neatly against its body as it tucks in for the dive. The intervals between plunges are measured, long enough for the bird to regain height, scan for movement beneath the waves, and choose the most promising spot. This rhythmic pattern seems almost meditative, a subtle dance between air and sea.
Trace the bird's path against the changing light of the sky.
The seagull arcs gracefully against the sky, its white feathers catching the warm glow of the late afternoon sun. The light shifts gently as clouds drift by, casting soft shadows across the bird's path. It glides in broad circles, sometimes soaring high where the sky turns a pale blue, then dipping lower where the sun reflects in golden patches on the harbor water. Its flight feels like a slow brushstroke painted across the canvas above, calm and deliberate, a quiet harmony of bird and light.
Find a cafe nearby.
Along the edge of the harbor, you spot a small cafe tucked behind a weathered wooden building. Its faded blue awning flutters gently in the breeze. Warm light spills from its windows, and the faint aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingles with the salty air. Through the glass, you see a few patrons seated, quietly sipping or chatting in low tones. The quiet hum of quiet conversation and the clink of cups adds a gentle warmth to the harbor's ambience.
Approach the cafe and step inside.
You walk along the wooden planks toward the cafe, each step soft against the well-worn dock. Pushing open the door, a gentle bell chimes overhead. Inside, the air is warmer, filled with the rich scent of roasted coffee beans and a hint of sweet pastries. Soft jazz music hums quietly in the background. The decor is rustic, aged wooden tables, mismatched chairs, and shelves lined with books and maritime trinkets. A barista behind the counter offers a welcoming smile as steam rises from a nearby espresso machine.
Order a cup of coffee and find a window seat.
You step forward to the counter and order a simple cup of coffee, its rich aroma already awakening your senses. The barista prepares it with practiced care, the steady hiss of the espresso machine blending with the ambient jazz. Cradling the warm ceramic cup in your hands, you turn toward the window seat nearby. Settling there, you gaze out at the harbor, where the water glints softly and the seagull you followed earlier now rests on a distant buoy. The warmth of the coffee seeps into your palms, a quiet comfort amid the gentle activity outside.
Take a slow sip and savor the taste.
The coffee is warm and smooth, a gentle bitterness balanced by a whisper of sweetness. As you take the slow sip, the flavors unfold methodically, inviting a quiet moment of calm. The warmth spreads from your mouth to your chest, grounding you amid the soft murmur of the cafe. Outside, the harbor continues its timeless rhythm, the water's murmur, distant calls of workers, and the occasional flap of wings blending into a serene, living tapestry.
Continue savoring the coffee while watching the harbor.
You remain settled by the window, the warmth of the coffee lingering with every sip. Outside, the harbor feels alive but unhurried. Boats sway gently at anchor, ropes creak softly, and the sunlight shimmers over the restless water. A faint breeze carries the distant scent of salt and seaweed, mingling with the cafe's cozy embrace. Occasionally, a gull swoops low or a worker calls out, their voices threading through the steady hum of the harbor. Time seems to slow here, held in gentle balance between movement and stillness.
Decide whether to stay longer or step outside again for fresh air.
The warmth of the cafe and the comforting rhythms outside invite you to linger a while longer. Yet the fresh harbor air calls softly through the open window, mingling with the scent of coffee and carrying the promise of tactile sensations, the touch of salt breeze on your skin, the gentle roughness of wooden planks beneath your fingers. You pause in quiet contemplation, sensing this moment poised between two peaceful worlds, one cozy and intimate, the other open and expansive.
Step outside to feel the fresh harbor air on your face.
You rise from your seat, feeling the comforting weight of the coffee cup in your hands one last time before setting it gently on the table. Pushing open the cafe door, the cool harbor breeze greets you immediately. It carries the briny tang of the sea, the cry of distant gulls, and a faint undertone of wood and tar. The air feels fresh, sharpening your senses as you step back onto the dock. The wooden boards creak softly beneath your feet, warmed and weathered by countless days of sun and salt. The harbor stretches out before you, a blend of slow movements and quiet sounds. A thick rope sways gently from a nearby mast, while the water laps rhythmically against the pilings. Here, the world feels alive but patient, like a deep breath held just before an exhale.
Walk further along the docks to explore.
As you move along the docks, each step brings new textures underfoot. the worn wood grain, occasional patches of rough rope, and the faintly damp coolness near the water's edge. Sunlight filters between boats, casting long shadows and catching on the metallic glint of cleats and pulleys. The air hums with subtle activity, a distant call between workers, the steady slap of waves, and the soft murmur of sea breezes threading through rigging lines. Nearby, a stack of weathered crates waits patiently, their surfaces scarred by years of use. A ship's bell rings somewhere across the harbor, a clear, slow toll that punctuates the quiet rhythm. Seagulls flutter and call, weaving through the lingering scent of salt and old pine.
Approach the stack of crates to examine them closely.
You step closer to the stack of crates, their rough wooden surfaces worn smooth in spots by countless hands and years under the elements. Salt stains and faded markings hint at their long journeys, labels peeling softly, but still legible. The scent of aged wood mingles with faint traces of dried herbs and sea salt. Each crate seems to hold stories, cargo from distant places, small treasures or necessities for life by the sea. A few loose nails glint faintly where the boards meet, and a thin spider's web glistens in a shadowed corner.
Look for any interesting labels or markings on the crates.
The faded labels catch your eye, stenciled letters and numbers, some nearly rubbed away by time, others still clear enough to read. One crate bears a worn stamp, Bayfield Imports. Another has a hand-painted symbol resembling a compass rose, its black lines cracked but still striking. Smaller handwritten notes in cursive script mention lavender, dried seaweed, and fragile. The markings hint at goods both practical and fragrant, traded quietly through countless days. You imagine the hands that packed these crates, the salty journeys they endured, and the slow weaving of stories tethered to this harbor.
Try to recall where Bayfield might be on the map.
You pause, letting the name, Bayfield, settle in your mind. It evokes a quiet coastal town you've heard of before, situated along a gentle bay, known for its small fishing fleets and quaint maritime charm. Somewhere where salt air mingles with wildflowers and the rhythm of tides shapes everyday life. It feels fitting that crates from such a place would find their way here, folding one harbor's presence into another through traded goods and lived moments. Around you, the dock continues to hum softly with life, the layers of place and memory blending in the shifting light.
Look toward the nearby moored boats for further exploration.
Your eyes shift toward the nearby boats gently rocking with the harbor's ebb and flow. Wooden hulls, varnished and scarred by years of salt and sun, reflect the afternoon light in muted glimmers. Thick ropes, coiled neatly or draped casually, connect vessels to sturdy pilings or floating buoys. The faint scent of tar and pine mingles with the salty breeze. Occasionally, a sailor attends to lines or inspects rigging, their movements deliberate and unhurried, part of a rhythm shaped by tides and time.
Approach a small fishing boat tied close by and observe.
You step carefully along the dock toward the small fishing boat moored nearby. Its hull is painted a faded green, streaked with salt and time. The deck is modest but well-used, knots of rope coiled on wooden benches, a metal bucket with a few fishing tools resting inside, and a weathered net draped over the stern. The wood beneath your fingers is cool and textured, and the faint scent of fish lingers, mingled with the ever-present salt air. The boat rocks gently, responding to the slow pulse of the harbor's water.
Peer into the boat's cabin for a glimpse inside.
You lean forward slightly, peering through the small, glassed opening of the fishing boat's cabin. The interior is snug, a shadowed nook filled with practical items carefully arranged. Weather charts lie folded on a small bench, alongside a lantern coated lightly in salt. A coil of rope hangs near a hand-carved wooden steering wheel. Soft light filters through a porthole, casting a pale glow on the floorboards. The cabin carries the quiet stillness of moments between voyages, where time holds steady and memories settle gently around familiar things.
Step closer to examine the charts and lantern.
You lean in carefully, your fingers just brushing the edge of a folded chart. The paper is worn and soft at the creases, inked lines tracing routes across shaded bays and open seas. Nearby, the lantern's glass is flecked with salt spray, its metal frame dulled but sturdy. You imagine the lantern's glow cutting through pre-dawn fog or long nights at sea, an essential companion in a world that shifts between light and shadow. The quiet here feels intimate, like stepping into a moment frozen between journeys.
Gently unfold a corner of the chart to glimpse the map's details.
You carefully ease the corner of the chart open, revealing a detailed navigation map. Coastal contours, dotted islands, and sweeping blue lines representing currents and tides are rendered with patient precision. Small annotations mark harbors, fishing grounds, and hidden coves, each note a silent guide through these waters. The map feels like a quiet testament to many voyages taken and yet to come, a paper canvas of travels woven with knowledge and care.
Study the annotations to imagine the boat's possible routes.
Your eyes trace the small handwritten notes along the chart's edges, marks indicating favorite fishing spots, safe passages through rocky shoals, and sheltered bays for unpredictable weather. You imagine this boat's journeys, early mornings casting nets under misty skies, afternoons slipping between islands, evenings moored quietly in quiet harbors. The map feels like a companion, a quiet witness to rhythms both adventurous and routine. Each annotation carries a weight of experience, a map not just of geography, but of daily life on the sea.
Step back and listen closely to the sounds around the dock.
You step back from the cabin window, letting your gaze soften as you listen intently. The dock hums with a layered symphony, the gentle slap of water against hulls, the creak of wood shifting with the tide, the faint rustle of sails flapping lazily. Somewhere, a seagull calls, its cry carrying over the salt-tinged air. Distant voices blend softly, workers coordinating quietly, footsteps on weathered planks, the occasional clink of metal. These sounds weave into the harbor's slow, steady rhythm, a soundscape both familiar and endlessly shifting.
Close your eyes to focus even deeper on the harbor sounds.
Closing your eyes, the world narrows to a tapestry of sound. The water's gentle lapping forms a soothing undercurrent, punctuated by the rhythmic creak of timber and the occasional distant clang of a ship's bell. Soft voices from workers speak in low, measured tones, weaving in and out like a quiet conversation with the sea. Above, the faint flutter and call of gulls add a light, bright counterpoint. The breeze, carrying salt and wood smoke, brushes past your skin, connecting you deeper to this serene harbor moment, a suspended breath between movement and stillness.
Remain still a moment longer to deepen the meditation.
You remain motionless, letting the layers of sound and sensation deepen around you. The harbor's heartbeat slows to match your own breath, a measured, gentle rhythm that knits together the distant ship bells, the murmur of waves, and the soft cry of gulls. Time feels suspended, weightless, as if the moment itself holds its breath, inviting quiet reflection without hurry or expectation. The cool breeze brushes past, a subtle reminder of the ever-present dance between land and sea.
Slowly open your eyes to rejoin the visual world.
You've been listening to Unwritten on Snuggly.Cloud. Thank you for joining the story. Until next time, may your path be calm and your choices be yours.